Hello, students. Welcome to Easy Elimu Learning Simplified. My name is Mr. Stanley Ombogo. Dear students, I believe that you're doing great wherever you're watching us from. And in this session that we are about to have, I'd like us to, look at verbs. That is by looking at the two main types of verbs. So we want to look at lexical verbs, and again uh, some examples of lexical verbs and how we can use them in sentences. We are also going to look at another type of verbs, that is auxiliary verbs. So we are also going to give examples in sentences to help us understand how these types of verbs work. So by the end of this session, dear students, you are supposed to differentiate, or you should be able to differentiate, that is between lexical verbs and auxiliary verbs. Then apart from differentiating the two types of verbs, you uh, should know how to use these verbs in sentences. So to begin with, dear students, let us just remind ourselves about some basic things about verbs. So verbs, number one, are actions in sentences. These are action words. They indicate or show, an action that has been performed by a subject. So a verb denotes the action or state of being of the subject in a sentence. Look at this example. She dashed into class. So the verb that we have there is, or the action word that we have there is dash. So that indicates an action that was performed, uh, you know, uh, some time back. Then there is also another example. Uh, Wycliffe is unwell. Wycliffe is unwell. So we have the verb is, and it is an auxiliary verb. We are going to, know more about auxiliary verbs later. So unwell is, the state of, being sick. So uh, the highlighted words indicate state of being. So verbs also carry the tense or the time when a particular action took place or is to take place. So talking about tenses, we have, remember, present, past, past participle, uh, you know, uh, simple present, simple past, etc. There are so many. So example in sentences, we have the first example, uh, she went home yesterday. Then the second example, she goes home this evening. So in the first example, the highlighted word there is went, so that is our verb. Then in the second sentence, the highlighted word is goes. So the two verbs talk about, different tenses. The first is talking about, something that happened in the past. Then the goes and talks about, something progressive. So verbs also carry the perfective or progressive aspect of the action. So when we talk about perfective, aspects, these are completive actions that are complete. They are in complete forms. Then progressive aspect talks about something that is, continuing, something that is ongoing. So consider the example below. She had eaten the food. So had eaten implies that the action came in, completion before probably another action in the past happened. So this verb is said to be in the perfective aspect. Then consider this second example. She is writing an essay. She is writing an essay. So is writing is our verb there. So the verb in this sentence implies that the action of writing is in progress. So it is something that is still continuing. So the verb therefore carries the progressive aspect. Now, to introduce you to the main types of verbs that I talked about earlier on, there are two main types of verbs. So the first one is lexical verbs, and secondly, we have auxiliary verbs. So let us start by looking at lexical verbs. So lexical verbs are also called primary verbs. So they are called primary verbs because they indicate action. We can say that they show action in sentences. So some examples of lexical verbs are verbs like think, run, walk, laugh, want, act, and so on. So we have said that they are action words and they occur independently and singly in clauses. We cannot have, two lexical verbs used in a sentence. That is where one follows the other. They cannot work that way in a sentence. So look at this example. The boy kicked the ball. So the verb kicked is independent and may not need another verb. So but if we say, assuming we have another sentence that has two verbs, let us see how that will work. So the boy kicked through the ball. So that is wrong because the lexical verbs we said occur singly in clauses or sentences. So in this case, we have two lexical verbs, that is kicked and through, where through is coming after kicked. So the sentence is not making sense. Therefore, they only occur independently and singly in clauses. So just as a reminder, a clause is a segment of speech that is larger than a phrase and having a finite verb, or that is a verb with the tense. So another thing worth noting, dear students, is that verbs will always agree with the subject of the sentence in relation to number. So whether singular or plural. So if we have a singular subject in a sentence, then the verb that will be used will be a singular verb. And if we have a plural subject in our sentence, the verb that we will use, or the verb that that will follow, sorry, the verb that will follow the plural subject must also be in plural. So consider these examples. In our first example, we have Juma goes to school. So Juma is a subject, and in this case, it is a single subject because it is talking about one person. So the verb that we use there is goes. Then if we are to talk about maybe very many boys, a number that exceeds one, we will use a plural verb. So check the other example, that is the boys go to school. So in the other sentence, the boys is a plural subject, and therefore the verb that will agree to that is go. That is also in plural. So a singular subject has a corresponding singular form of a verb. And another thing is that a plural subject will have a corresponding plural form of a verb. So another important detail worth noting, dear students, before we come to the end of the session, is that verbs will change for tense. That is, verbs will always change depending on the tense used. So, for example, we have these two sentences. The first one is I see him. The other one is I saw him. So in the first sentence, I see him represents simple present tense, whereas I saw him talks about simple past tense. So, dear students, for a lesson on auxiliary verbs, kindly watch the next video. Until next time, thank you for keeping it easy. Once again, my name is Mr. Stanley Ombogo. Bye.